Welcome to this demo on traceability management between Enterprise Architect and Doors Next under Global Configuration Management. So there's a number of steps we have to perform to be able to start actually managing links. First of all, there are some prerequisites we need. Friends have to be defined. Consumer whitelisting has to be defined on the ELM side. We assume that a system admin has taken care of these steps and that the servers can actually talk to each other. The first three steps then are usually performed by a project admin, so no user will be confronted with these kind of tasks. So let's go to step one and set up a new Smartfacts project using IBM ELM Global Configurations. Okay, so here we are in Smartfacts. We open the project tab and say we want to add a new project, and we call it EA Doors Next under GCM. Okay, and we save it, and here we are in our new and fresh project. Now in step two, we must publish our Enterprise Architect model to Smartfacts. Now here I am in Enterprise Architect. I have loaded our Smartfacts plugin. We must make sure that we are in the right project. So EA Doors Next under GCM is the right project. And we go ahead. We have loaded our SysML model, and we go ahead and publish. We publish a new model, and we select the position in the content tree where we want that model to be published to, and we call it EA model for ELM demo. Next, and we hit publish. Okay. Having finished this, we should save our model. And we're done with this step. Advance with step 3. Now we must add an association from the Doors Next project to the Smartfacts project. Okay, so here I am in Doors Next in the requirements module we want to use for adding links to our SysML model in Enterprise Architect, and we must make sure that the JAS project area is associated with the Smartfacts project. So we go into manage this project area, we scroll down, we go to the section of associations, and we add an association. We select the OSLC connector for Smartfacts, and we select the project area we have defined before, EA Doors Next under GCM. That was the project in Smartfacts we had defined, and we say OK. So this is added now, and we have to save this, and we're done. So now we have to add a new global configuration on the ELM side, and this global configuration must contain the local configurations from Doors Next, so the requirements module we have just seen, and the Enterprise Architect model we have published to Smartfacts. Having done that, we will then set the global configuration as a global context in Doors Next and in Enterprise Architect, and we can start managing links. We will start from the Enterprise Architect side, add some links there, check if they are really bidirectional and can be seen in Doors Next, and then we'll do it the other way around and add links from the Doors Next side to Enterprise Architect. So I have defined a new component, my test product initial development here, and I have added our AMR1 requirements stream already to that global configuration, and now we also have to add the Enterprise Architect model to that global configuration. So we say add global configuration, we select the Smartfacts domain, or the Smartfacts picker. Here we select the project EA 2 doors next under GCM, and we select the model we have published and the version of the model, and we add that to the local configuration. And now we have our global configuration with the EA model for ELM demo and AMR1 requirements. So one requirement stream and one SysML model based on Enterprise Architect. So there's one important thing I'd like to point out. So in our Smartfacts project, we had defined this EA 2 doors next under Global Configuration Management project in Smartfacts. And here we have to define in the profile that we want to work with IBM ELM Global Configuration. So that is very important. Otherwise, Enterprise Architect won't recognize global configurations. Okay, but having set that option, we can switch over to Enterprise Architect. We have this global config icon here, and when I click on it, I get a picker from ELM Global Config Management, and I can select a global configuration here. This is the one we had defined before, and I say OK. So we can click on that global configuration and it will show us the decomposition, and we see that there is one Enterprise Architect model in here. That's the one we had published, and here is a stream of requirements in there. So everything is correct. We can refresh that. The single source of global configuration is in ELM Global Config Management. So only there we can change the global configuration. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work with links. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some links. I'm here in Enterprise Architect. I have loaded a SysML model, and we have also loaded our Smartfacts plugin. And I'm going ahead and I will load the doors next requirement stream from within the global configuration into the requirements grid. I select a module and expand it. And here are our requirements. So these requirements are loaded live from doors next. They're not synchronized into the SysML model. They are just loaded into the plugin so we can use them to establish links. And that's very easy. I just select an element in the SysML model. I select a textual requirement. I choose a link type. There are 4 different link types for the combination requirement to architecture element. And I take the very top one. That is always the one I have used in my latest operation, and I get a little preview and say I want to add that link. And having done that, you see we get this vertical gray bar, and when I hover on it, I get the item that is actually linked. I can also link the whole diagram. So when I deselect everything, no element is selected now, then I link the whole diagram to the text. And now when I hover on the bar, then we see that 2 items have been linked to the same text, infotainment gateway and the whole diagram. Okay, so this is nice. We have this very transparent way of showing all the requirements, including rich text, tables, images, and so on. We can navigate through them and use them for adding links. But what is also important is that we have context view. So whenever we navigate into a diagram, like into this one, I want to know which of the links that are relevant in context of this diagram. Okay, so we have a second view here, the context view, and when I switch to that view, I get exactly that. I get the list of links that are relevant to this diagram. When I select infotainment gateway, then I also get a little marker here that tells me that infotainment gateway is actually linked to a text. And so this is the list of links that is relevant for this SysML diagram. as usual with OSLC, we're always able to open a delegated UI of a link, so we can ask what is on the other side of the link, and here we can do that via opening the local viewer, and we get a delegated UI from Doors Next. This is a very simple one because the meta model of that requirements module is very simple. If you have more attributes, then certainly more attributes are shown here. Okay, so let's navigate to the other side. Open in original tool, and now we navigate into Doors Next, into the right project, into the right global configuration with the right requirement selected. And down here in the links compartment, we see the elements that have been linked. And just as expected, it's infotainment gateway and the components diagram. When I hover on the components diagram, then I get the representation of that diagram. I can also zoom in and out. So this is much more than just an image. I can select an element, and I can even see what is the data that is associated with that model element. So basically, I have the complete SysML model at my fingertips on the Doors Next side. And when I hover on Infotainment Gateway, then we only get a property grid, because this is just a link to a model element that happens to be used in the components diagram. And when I navigate into that diagram, then I also get it highlighted, and it tells me where that element is actually linked to. Okay, so very convenient. The links are really bidirectional. You add them on one side, and immediately you're able to see them on the other side. Now let's add another link with a different link type. And here we get a very powerful picker. I can pick from my personal favorites. I can search within the complete SysML model. I can navigate into the SysML model. For instance, I can say, well, I would be interested in this element here, but let's look into the tree, and I can also navigate into other diagrams and select a port in a different diagram. So it is very convenient to select your link target. I stay with the components diagram, and we select the video unit and say we want to add a link. So here it is. We have linked to the video unit, and let's see on the other side. We refresh our context list, and just as expected, we get the third link, video unit. And when I click on it, on the video unit, this also highlights the video unit here and tells me where this element actually is. So very convenient, very easy to add links from both sides. You can remove them from both sides. You can consume them by calling the delegated UI, and you can navigate from one side to the other. And whenever you add a link, it will be immediately visible on the other side. And both informations, the requirements are completely transparent in the SysML tool, and the SysML model is completely transparent in your Doors Next requirements management tool. Now, in the next step, I would like to check if the global config management mechanism is really working. So let's navigate over into IBM Global Config Management. And here's the definition of our global configuration. And let's just remove the requirements module from this global configuration here. And now the expectation would be that, having set that global configuration here, we shouldn't see any links. So let's refresh. And there we are. So no more links. And if we go back and add the we add the global configuration again. We add the requirements stream again. Where are we here? And I choose AMR1. And I put it back into our global configuration. And when we then refresh the global configuration, the expectation would be that the links are back, and here they are. So really, global configuration is working inside Enterprise Architect. Now, you've seen that we always try to bring the information of one authoring tool into the user interface of another one. Like you can see the whole requirements module inside Enterprise Architect, and you can navigate the complete SysML model inside Doors Next. So we don't want to force anybody into any third application just to manage links. But Smartfacts itself does have an user interface, and you can also work with that. So you don't have to. I'm just showing this as an option. So also here in the Smartfacts user interface, you have the global configuration. You can navigate in, load the global configuration to one side, and then expand one requirements module just as you've seen it in Enterprise Architect. And here we have our marker for the text that owns links. And here is the diagram. We can load that to the left. And now you have SysML and text side by side, and it's very easy to go ahead and add more links just by selecting something on the left side, on the right side, and selecting a link type and adding a link. So this is a third option to establish links. You can add them from Enterprise Architect, from Doors Next, but you can also use the user interface of Smartfacts to manage links, to control them, to generate reports, and do all sorts of things. Okay, thanks for watching this.